Welcome back to From Roots to Fruits. This podcast is all about finances. We have covered so many subjects from how to manage your finances, budgeting, paying off debt, investment. I've interviewed so many amazing people that are educating people to manage their finances or have done it themselves, climbed out of debt. I've also interviewed a lot of business owners that have shared tips on how to run a business, and also interviewed accountants that can share how to manage finances as well. As you know, I am a chartered accountant by the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, so CIMA. And yeah, I'm also a CIMA Women in Leadership Ambassador. Roots to Fruits supports businesses, self-employed people, as well as professionals and individuals to manage their finances. The idea is to empower people to feel like, okay, I know what's happening with my finances. It's not just about sending your statements to us and then we prepare your accounts and you go your way. You are with us along the way. We are talking through every formula, we're talking through what the numbers actually mean so that we can help you grow. So that's what we do at Roots to Fruits. And the same principles that are applied in business, I applied in personal finances as well. And we do that through coaching, we do that through networking events, and also workshops that we host on a regular basis. We are going to get back to monthly workshops, so stay tuned for that. Today's episode came about because a few people have been asking for some tips on how to get sponsorships. This year and 2024 as well, we've had some sponsors that are really, really great names, household names, big companies have supported us. And a lot of people that are maybe starting out in business or just haven't been lucky enough yet to secure a sponsorship have asked how we've managed to do it or how I've managed to do it. And I put together this podcast today to talk about that because From Roots to Fruits was actually sponsored for a quarter by Pension Bee, and that was really exciting. And hopefully in the next few months, we're going to be announcing some new things as well. So I just wanted to talk through how we got here because this is year 5 of Roots to Fruits and I'd never run a business before. Of course, worked in businesses as a finance manager, but it's a different ball game actually running a business compared to working in a business. So that's our subject today. So this might apply to you whether you host events, you run a podcast, have a social media presence. Sponsorship is a game changer. Once people see that you're aligned with a certain company, and of course they have to respect that company, then people look at you completely differently. Just to clarify, there's a difference between sponsorships and grants. When you receive funding through grants, that is essentially for a charitable reason, or it could be a grant that you're given some money to achieve something, but nothing is required from you back. It's usually a structured something. It's usually an organization that has put some money aside for a specific reason and is looking for specific organizations to carry out that thing. So grants are different to sponsorships. Sponsorships are more like partnerships where it's usually not set in stone if you could get a sponsorship, whereas if a grant has been put aside, then you can apply for that and whoever gets it, gets it. But a sponsorship, businesses do not have to sponsor other businesses or they don't have to sponsor influencers. So there's a difference there. With grants, you go through an application process where someone's going to vet you and there's usually guidelines. It's really clear in terms of what the process would be. But with sponsorship, it's very fluid. It's very, you get it if you get it. If you don't, you don't. So that's the difference. And with sponsorship, it's usually from a marketing budget. If you can get both, so amazing. Try to get both. Sponsorships also help with sustainability and growth because maybe when you're not meeting targets for revenue, you might be getting sponsorships. So that is cash in the bank that can help you to tick off a few more things. And I have to be honest, attracting the right partners takes time. So I'm going to share our journey, and we're nowhere near where I think we can be. If you've been watching or listening for the past year of From Roots to Fruits, you will know that I am very ambitious. If you've seen our journey and just my personal journey, you will know that I reach for the stars and I'm going to do everything that I can to get there. And it doesn't come with knockbacks and setbacks and hurdles and sometimes crying and just being so frustrated by the process because you know where you're trying to go and what you deserve, but sometimes it feels like people aren't seeing your vision and aren't buying into it. So it can get frustrating, but you just have to keep getting back up and keep going. So our story is that I started Roots to Fruits in 2020, so it's been 5 years now if you're listening, in 2025. And it's a journey where for the first couple of years I was more researching and offering a lot for free. A lot of the workshops were free, people would just show up. I did other external workshops and talks for other organizations for free as well, just to get into the room and to feel more confident because I definitely felt like an imposter at that stage. I knew business finances, but talking about personal finances was a little bit of a new thing. So I wanted to gain confidence and also create all the packs and meet new people. So I would offer it for free for 2 years. And that was okay because my job was more than supplementing my lifestyle. In fact, it actually helped. It helped with the startup cost for Roots to Fruits. So I was in a very good place financially, didn't really need the finances, but in hindsight, I should have started from, earlier on to prepare a pricing, strategy and start to charge. But we're here now. And yeah, so in 2021/2022 is when I partnered up with the first business, which was GiftGaff. And I will call that a sponsorship as well, because at that time, not an official one, but at that time, they really championed myself and they would post about my work and they would post about Roots to Fruits on LinkedIn, and a lot of people saw those posts, and that's how I got contracts with other businesses. So you have to think about partnerships with organizations as that stamp of approval sometimes. So if you maybe do not need the money at the moment, or maybe just go in under and then negotiate up later on because you're just starting out, then definitely do that, because once people see that you've worked with another company, it's so easy to get into the room. So the best thing that I did was work with GiftGaff, because also it helped me prepare so many of the decks that then helped when I was approaching other companies, and they were willing to pay thousands of pounds to hear me speak and to have our programs as well. So that was the best thing to happen. You have to think about sponsorship as just not finances. It's also not a donation. When you approach a company, make sure that you are being clear on the value that you're going to provide for them. Are you actually aligned? Do you know what that company's mission is, what their strategy is, what their goals are? Therefore, are you aligned with where they're trying to go? So research. If there are any events that you can attend for that company, then definitely attend events so that you can actually meet the people that work there and then get to talking to them so you can understand what their challenges are, so then you can plug that gap. It's not just about the finances, and it's not just about visibility to your audience. Not anymore, not when there's social media and they can get all sorts of influencers. So you really need to make sure that you're providing value as well to them. Remember, you're not asking for help, you're providing an opportunity. So I'm going to give you the first step that you're going to do when you're looking for sponsorship. First, get aligned with your mission, your business mission, or if you're a social media influencer, or if you have a podcast, just make sure it's really clear what your values are. So then it's easy for you to then see if you're aligned with another company's values. That's step one. Step two, start doing your research. Which companies do you actually like? Which companies are you aligned to? So for us, I am someone that wants to advocate for women from day one. Even when I was working for companies, I was part of the engagement programs, and I would support with different groups within companies, and one of them were for women. And I know that I would love to work with more companies that are female led, more companies that have female founders, and companies that really value a woman's voice, because I'm a woman. So I'd love to know that I am valued by them. And usually it is the companies that are female founded or female led, or they have that as one of the big things that they're championing. So that's one of the things that I look for. Also, of course, I'm a Black woman. So any company that is at the forefront of supporting D&I, honestly, I know it's not a good thing now all of a sudden, but it's very important that I work with companies that are supporting Black voices. So it's even better if they're supporting Black female voices. So that's one of the things that I look for. And I know our mission is to support people that need the support. So people that need to hear from us. For example, we've got Empower Her, and that's tailored to women, and it's a celebration of International Women's Day. So we're supporting women. We've had so many events that we're supporting Black business owners. We have been at the Black Business Show as well. And yeah, so we're in the ecosystem. So I love when businesses are aligned in that way. So do your research. Okay, so now you've done your research, you found a company that aligns with your mission. It could be that you are a company that is, health focused. So you are looking for businesses that are supporting health. So it could be businesses that are in the fitness industry, or businesses that have really good, positive sustainability on the food as well industry too. So just kind of think about that, because it's really important, rather than just kind of looking for anyone and everyone, which is definitely something that I've done. And I'll tell you, those cold emails and not hearing a word, or just getting 2 replies from sending 100 emails. I'm not even exaggerating here. I used to send maybe 20 to 30 emails a day in the first days of setting up, our in-person events. And I would hear back from maybe about 2 or 3 out of 100. And they will be saying, no, sorry, it's not the right time. But I changed my strategy, and I started to look for businesses that are aligned and research them, found the right person, gained a relationship, and that is when doors started to open. So do your research. And then the next step is to build a deck. So this doesn't have to be so complicated. It depends on who you are as well. So if you're a business, perhaps it could be, a few slides of a presentation explaining the business, explaining the founder, explaining the proposition, and showing that you're aligned with the brand. Or if you are a podcaster, or you could be a social media influencer, then probably now it's 1 or 2 pages where you're showing who you are, you're showing the demographics of your audience, your reach, loads of things. I'm going to show on a page here a example of, for a social media influencer, what you can have on there. It's a 1-pager, really easy to prepare if you have a Canva subscription, or if you create it on your own as well. You don't have to create on Canva, but this one is a Canva template, so you can use that as well. Speaking of Canva, I would love to work with Canva. I've used them since we started in 2020. One of the posters that I created, I know it's not a great poster, but it was on Canva and I felt so proud of myself because I did do graphics when was it, in GCSE. I did graphics and art as well. I'm a little bit of a painter, but yeah, so I did it at GCSE level, so I do know how to use Adobe, but it had been what, 12 years since, maybe 15 since then. So it was really nice to have Canva and I've used it ever since. I've got so many templates that I've used on Canva. So I'd love to work with Canva. I'm going to reach out. Okay, so if you are a business or a brand, these are the things that you should add onto your sponsorship deck. About you or your brand, make sure you include the mission, impact, and audience. The opportunity, what the sponsor gets, make sure that it's really clear. Are you going to add their logo somewhere? Or are you going to add something within the caption on your website? If it's in person, are you going to have something that is on a stand so people can see? So make sure that you've got that and it's really clear. Sometimes there are sponsorship tiers as well where you can provide more for one tier and then less for the other. Usually this is great because some companies that might be on the fence then could go for the lower tier. And then if that works out quite well, then the following year they might come back and then sponsor you at the higher tier. So what does that mean? It could be between bronze, silver, or gold. Also include the impact. Have that on there to show proof. So engagement, testimonials, social reach, and any media coverage as well, especially if you've won some awards or if you have been in the media, if you have been in, newspapers, for example. I was featured in the Times last year and that really supported the pack at that point because I was literally in the Financial Sunday Times in the finance section, and I put that everywhere. And as soon as I did that, I heard back from 2 companies and we managed to secure sponsorship, one for a workshop and the other for Empower Her. So it works. And make sure that it's clear what the call to action is. Is it that you're going to jump on a call so then you could discuss further? Or is it that they can kind of sign up for sponsorship or whatever it is? Make sure that there is a clear call to action